Now, from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10.
Tonight, a curfew is in place in Columbia, and President Obama just issued a disaster declaration for South Carolina, all after historic flooding ripped through the state.
We have lost everything. What I got on my body is what we have.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Wickersham. Tonight, neighborhoods are under several feet of water and rescue crews are working around the clock to help those affected. Eyewitness News reporter Blake Hansen is going to be in Columbia all week long for us. Tonight, he has a closer look at the recovery efforts as people cope with the damage.
Right now in Columbia, a curfew is in effect at 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock as law enforcement does not want to be out again dealing with rescues. Still a lot of concerns about flash flooding, but also about roads giving way. And one of those places we have seen that is right here in the Garner's Ferry area. The businesses were absolutely devastated today, and we can see that there is still a lot of damage. It's still a lot of cleanup. They actually cannot get back to that area right now because a dam broke just north of here. We were in the area, had to clear out, and this area has been cleared out for several hours now because of the concern about water coming back down that creek. This is going to be a concern throughout the week that there could be dams breaching, that it could put pressure on additional areas. So we will be here monitoring those conditions throughout the week, and also the effort by local first responders to come down and help with rescues and help with the cleanup. We'll have much more throughout the week. In Columbia, Blake Hansen, Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10.
New at 10, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham discussed the devastating floods across his state on the Senate floor today, and he thanked emergency crews and first responders.
I'm not a meteorologist, but it seems like everything bad that could happen did happen to suck the water and the rain into South Carolina.
President Obama has signed a disaster declaration for South Carolina, freeing up federal money for the state to recover. Chief Meteorologist Steve Udelson has been tracking this historic flooding and how much rain has fallen. Steve?
Yes, Scott, it was the Midlands and the low country of South Carolina bearing the brunt of this fire hose of water that came right off the Atlantic between I-20 and I-26 and pushing through the Columbia area. It has been an absolute mess, as you have seen. We've seen as much as 3 to 6 months worth of rain in about a 3-day period. That's how much rain fell. A little bit of a disturbance still sitting off the coast, still pushing some moisture ashore. In the Charlotte area, we've actually seen a few leftover showers. They have finally shoved to the south, really south of Highway 74, out toward the Highway 9 corridor. And that'll be it as far as the rainfall goes. Our futurecast overnight tonight not only gets rid of the rain, but for the first time in about 2 weeks, many of us will actually see the sun come above the horizon. Yeah, true sunrise. I'll show you how long the sun will last.
Oh, the historic rain totals have washed out roads, taken down bridges, and surrounded homes across Columbia. Chopper 9 Sky Zoom flew over some of the damage in Columbia today. Chopper 9 spotted these two cars under rushing water in northwest Columbia this afternoon. The swollen creek here overtaking the roadway near Lake Elizabeth, causing it to partially collapse. It's one of many roads shut down there tonight. Here we see people staring in wonder at what used to be a bridge, now ending in a washout of mud and water. As Chopper 9 zooms out, you can see where the bridge used to be. Here, another road washed away by high water, adding to the maze of dead ends and lost roads. We found this white truck that appears to have been washed off this roadway, pinned up against trees in the current. Once beautiful lakes are now filled with mud and sediment washed in from miles away. This home has water in the garage, probably inside the home itself too. And look at these white birds finding a safe elevated perch as they look down on this washed away car being overrun by water. Here you see parking lots flooded out. You can just see the top of this garbage dumpster and a couch hanging out of the front of this fabric store. Clearly the damage is not over, and the full tally of the devastation is far from over tonight. And right now, members of North Carolina's National Guard and NC Heart are in South Carolina helping out flood victims. Channel 9 was there yesterday as teams left in 3 helicopters from a base in Salisbury. Today, a major told us they haven't had to make any real rescues, but continue to canvass the Columbia area for any people stranded in homes or cars. Now, dozens of roads are still closed tonight across the Carolinas. Some residents in Brunswick County are stranded inside their homes because of high water. One woman says she's never dealt with this before, but glad it's not as bad as what they had in South Carolina. Governor Pat McCrory will be in Brunswick County tomorrow morning to give an update on North Carolina's response to the storms this weekend. Count on Channel 9 to monitor his discussion and keep you up to date on air and online at WSOC-TV.com. And count on Channel 9 for continuing coverage of this historic storm in North and South Carolina. We'll post any major updates immediately at WSOC-TV.com. Also, there you'll find a slideshow of the damage and links on how you can help out. Well, parents and students are seeking answers tonight behind the collapse of this awning at North Iredale High School this weekend that injured 21 students and 1 adult. New at 10, they told Eyewitness News reporter Jenna Deary they aren't pointing fingers. Instead, Jenna, they say they're just trying to learn how they can help.
Scott, they showed me a lot of grace while telling me how they feel tonight. They said their focus needs to be on the injured and those families. They said they wanted to turn any worries and concerns that they may have at community meetings tonight into something positive. Tonight, Timothy Carroll and his family wore T-shirts saying "Band Strong" for a community he says is powerful not only in numbers.
If you ever have seen cliques in schools, marching band or band is the biggest clique there.
But in unity, too.
I'm hoping that we can all use it and all rely on each other.
To get through what's been a nightmare.
I did not sleep well Saturday night. I did wake up several times knowing what happened.
Saturday, Carroll and his classmates from South Iredale High School were getting ready for a band competition at North Iredale High School when a box truck with band equipment hit a concrete overhang. Part of the canopy collapsed, pinning some students under the fallen rubble. 22 were hurt, including 1 adult. Today, that awning was cleared, while some students are still in the hospital, and parents met to learn what's next.
It was more of a kind of a therapy session for the parents. There was a lot of tears, flood of emotions.
We were not allowed to attend community meetings held at both schools tonight, but parents say they weren't there to point fingers.
There was no one person at fault.
Instead, they wanted to know how to help, whether it's with hospital bills or to just support the troubled and concerned.
It's very emotional. It's tough. You see the children and you know they're hurting and you want to hurt for them because they are children.
Now tonight, troopers were back out at North Iredale. They told us the driver of the box truck, who is the parent of a former student, is very shaken. Troopers will meet with the district attorney this week to decide if he'll be held liable. Live in Troutman, Jenna Deary, Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10.
A GoFundMe account has been set up for those students. If you want to make a donation, head to our website, WSOC-TV.com, and look for the story under the News tab. All new at 10, CMPD is asking for your help to identify a suspect in an armed robbery. Take a look at this picture. This was taken at the Shell gas station on Glenwood Drive, September 4th, just after 9 o'clock. Police say this man walked into the store, implied that he had a weapon, and then robbed the business. If you know who he is, please call Crime Stoppers. Well, tonight a judge is weighing whether to approve several motions in the case of a popular high school counselor's murder. The man accused of strangling and sexually assaulting Maggie Daniels stood throughout the entire hearing today.
Mr. Rowe, thank you. You can sit down, sir. I have to sit. Pardon? I have to sit. No, sir, you don't have to sit. I'm good. But you're entitled to sit. I'm good.
Sharman Odom's attorney says that DNA evidence found on Danielle's body last summer belonged to her boyfriend, not Odom.
Who was the boyfriend of the victim and whose biological material was found on the clothing that the victim was wearing at the time that she was found.
Odom's attorney wants the judge to let them see a Newton police captain's personnel file to know if there is a connection between him and Danielle's boyfriend. New at 10, the York County Sheriff's Office trying to find 3 men who broke into the Smoker's Boutique in Rock Hill. Authorities say the men tried to break surveillance cameras around the business first. They weren't able to do that. The Sheriff's Office says they broke the glass on the front door to get in and then stole 3 pipes. Anyone who knows who they are should call Crime Stoppers or the Sheriff's Office. Well, close friends say an assault may have led to the murder of a Lancaster man Saturday. Jeff Barrett's body was found on Thomasville Street outside Lancaster Saturday night. His body was in the road when friends discovered him. Within hours, deputies charged 16-year-old Derek Stalk with murder. They won't discuss motive, but friends say Stalk assaulted Barrett a few days earlier. State environmental officials are now investigating if 2 unlined coal ash sites in Belmont could be contaminating well water. Eyewitness News learned in the 1990s, Duke Energy buried 800,000 tons of coal ash at this horse pasture and on Holly Angel's property. One neighbor had a private company test his water and said the findings were alarming.
Vanadium and hexchromium are the 2 I think that are the biggest health risks. My fear is what's in my children. You know, how much of this stuff is in my kids right now.
Angel sent Channel 9 a statement saying, we were not informed of any risks. We share our neighbors' concerns about water quality and support the further study of this important issue. Tomorrow, voters will decide which Democratic candidate will be on the ballot for Charlotte's mayoral election. Current Mayor Dan Clodfelter is in a runoff with Jennifer Roberts. More than 4,100 people cast ballots during early voting. Polls open as early as 6:30 tomorrow morning. The Democrat who wins tomorrow's runoff will face Republican Edwin Peacock. A creek in Colombia raging out of control when it became the scene of a remarkable rescue.
He was fighting, to reach me.
What he refused to leave behind, even if it meant risking his own life. And a woman shot and killed while babysitting a 2-year-old in Charlotte. New at 10, Channel 9 uncovers why the suspect was denied a gun permit just a few months ago.
Some of us lucky enough to see some sunshine today, others still some showers. I'll show you when the sun will win out for all of us.
Police say this woman was shot and killed while she was babysitting a 2-year-old in Charlotte. Tonight, her family told Channel 9 this suspect that police arrested was her boyfriend. New at 10, Eyewitness News reporter Alexa Ashwell found out that suspect was just denied a gun permit a few months ago.
Yes, Scott, right now the suspect is being held here at the Mecklenburg County Jail. He's accused of killing his girlfriend. Well, today we found this document that shows he was denied his application to purchase a firearm, leaving the victim's family with many unanswered questions, including how or where he would get a gun.
A life ended and another possibly forever changed. Police said 25-year-old Emmanuel Felton shot and killed 23-year-old Alexia Mayfield. Her mother shared these pictures and told me off camera Alexia and Emmanuel had been dating for about a year. She said the two even talked about getting married but recently separated. The mother said Emmanuel went to Alexia's sister's home here on Nobles Avenue in West Charlotte, where she was babysitting her 2-year-old niece Friday night. She believes the two were talking when things took a violent turn. Alexia was later found shot to death inside the home. Her niece was also there, but unharmed. Felton was arrested the next day. Alexia's mother said she was unaware of domestic violence happening in the relationship, but said there were issues of jealousy. She also didn't know about this document Channel 9 uncovered today, an order denying Felton's appeal to purchase a gun, filed less than 5 months ago. The document shows the sheriff's office denied his application because on it he indicated he had, quote, sought or received mental health treatment, but, quote, would not agree to a HIPAA release in order to obtain mental health records.
They had to deny it because they didn't have the information.
Local gun shop owner Larry Hyatt told me that's standard protocol that's being looked at even more closely in the wake of America's most recent shootings.
When you apply for a purchase permit, they want to know your criminal background and also your mental background.
And we're told Felton is due in court tomorrow afternoon. Reporting live uptown, Alexa Ashwell, Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10.
Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton today unveiled a gun violence prevention plan. She promised to close background check loopholes for guns purchased online and at gun shows. She also wants to allow victims of gun violence to sue gun makers and dealers. She called for universal background checks and banning assault rifles. Clinton's push comes after a gunman killed 9 people on a college campus in Oregon last week.
It's time for us to say, wait a minute, we're better than this. Our country is better than this.
At that event in New Hampshire today, Clinton also gave the microphone to a mother who lost her 6-year-old son in the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut. Throughout our community, domestic violence is a much bigger problem than many realize. Channel 9 is partnering with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police to offer help and hope. Tomorrow night at 7, people from every walk of life will share their stories. Survivors, experts, and even former abusers will explain why domestic violence is everyone's problem.
And the level of violence, I mean, the level of violence, I think, is at a peak that we've never seen.
Join us for 9 Investigates Stand Up to Domestic Violence. We'll have live immediate support available in the broadcast for people in all 22 counties in our coverage area. That's tomorrow at 7 o'clock here on Channel 9 with a live stream at WSOC-TV.com. Water restrictions in Bessemer City could be lifted soon after that heavy rain over the past few days. Water is gushing now from the creek that replenishes the town's reservoir. The drought left them almost dry. Tonight, the town is purchasing water from neighboring cities.
It's cost us between $50,000 and $60,000 extra a month.
The town manager says they'll probably continue to buy that water for another 3 weeks to stabilize water levels in the reservoir and then lift the restrictions. Now, Chief Meteorologist Steve Udelson is here, and the lakes have benefited as well. Steve?
Yeah, they have, Scott, with 3 to 4 inches of rain in and around the Charlotte area from north to south along the Catawba River chain. Lake James is a foot above what Duke Energy tries to keep at its target level. Same for Lake Hickory. Lake Norman, which was down about 4 feet from target, is now only 1 foot away, and same for Lake Wiley. So many area lakes were up 2 to as much as 4 feet just over the weekend because of the rain. The last of tonight's showers are now scooting to the south and west. In fact, the clearing line, yes, clearing skies, really from I-85 points north, where we had a beautiful sunny afternoon. In the mountains, northern foothills, foliage is coming out. Don't worry, we'll all get to share in some of that sunshine as we head through tomorrow. Futurecast overnight tonight, something we'll keep an eye on, the potential for the low clouds after they clear out some this later tonight to reform toward morning. The ground is still damp, of course, and the winds, which were pretty stout the last couple of days, are also starting to calm down. That is usually the recipe for low clouds and maybe even some fog. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. Right now, I don't anticipate a big problem. It will certainly feel like October, lower 50s in most neighborhoods, which is where we should be this time of year, and in the 40s as you hit the high country. Wake up forecast for early risers tomorrow, lower 50s, sun up well after 7 a.m. By 9, the end of the morning drive, we're back into the mid to upper 50s. Futurecast tomorrow. How long have I waited to show you a map like this? Sunshine pretty much from start to finish. It has been 2 weeks since we have seen what you would consider to be a sunny day in and around the Charlotte area. Tomorrow will likely be the first. Here's a look at how temperatures respond to that sun. Mid-60s by lunchtime as we stop the timeline. Even up in the mountains we're above 60, and we are pushing low to mid-70s tomorrow afternoon. Again, right where we should be in early October. Temperatures stay in the 70s for the rest of the week. Again, our average high is 75. More importantly, we keep the rain away. Couple of showers on Friday as a passing cold front quickly scoots through. I don't anticipate any heavy rain at all. Your Pinpoint regional forecast in the mountains tomorrow, mid-60s, plenty of sun, a gorgeous fall day. I-40 corridor will see afternoon highs tomorrow back above 70 degrees. We'll be bouncing into the 70s in the Charlotte area with, again, sunshine just about all day long, starting to dry things out. And across the Midlands, afternoon highs tomorrow will be pushing the mid-70s. 5-day forecast keeps the sun around as well as the warmth through Wednesday and Thursday. Cold front will cool us down some as we head toward the weekend. But again, with your weekend always in view, looks pretty good. As far as the race Saturday night, we'll talk more about that at 10:30.
But that forecast looks pretty nice.
Compared to where we've been, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Steve. Oh, you can download the free Channel 9 Wake Up app to get breaking news and weather updates in the morning. This has live streaming newscasts, traffic updates, and you can connect with us on Facebook. It offers a social alarm as well to get your day started. Well, South Carolina overwhelmed by that flooding. Chopper 9 flew over the damage. Cars trapped in rushing waters, homes surrounded. We're going live to Columbia for a look at the widespread destruction impacting families tonight. Plus, an 87-year-old man is alive after a local family rescued him from rushing floodwaters.
I was praying that no one was in the car.
It's a miracle.
The life-threatening conditions they fought to get to him and the incredible rescue caught on tape. Crews across the area spent all day today cleaning up fallen trees after rain and high wind over the weekend. On Commonwealth near Westover, workers spent several hours removing this 50-year-old oak tree that fell on top of a home Sunday morning. 4 women live in the house. The tree crashed onto one of the bedrooms. Luckily, that roommate was out of town this weekend.
We were just blown away by the size of the tree, and we were just in complete shock. We didn't know what to do. It was just so unexpected.
Now, tree removal companies say a majority of the trees they've worked on have been weak or rotted. Right now, volunteers from the Charlotte area are in Columbia to help families affected by the floods. We were there as volunteers with the Charlotte Salvation Army loaded up this emergency disaster truck with water and food and coffee. Volunteers from the Salvation Army are headed to Columbia and prepared to stay a week.
When you've lost everything, a hot meal and a kind word, touch on the shoulder, often means everything as far as bringing hope to people.
We also talked to the U.S. Disaster Relief Manager for Samaritan's Purse. He said they have 3 disaster units ready to go, but they can't help people clean out homes until the floodwaters recede. At this Lowe's distribution center in Statesville, emergency items like generators, dehumidifiers, shop vacs, and more were loaded onto trucks, and they're now heading to South Carolina. Lowe's is also donating $500,000 to the American Red Cross. A new term underway for the U.S. Supreme Court, the controversial issues they'll be taking up. And a local family braved these rushing waters to save an 87-year-old driver stranded by the storm.
I couldn't get even out of the car. He had to pull me through the window.
The family's split-second decision to make the rescue without emergency crews.